Hello and welcome on my YouTube channel. My name is Johann Müller-Milas. I'm doctor for general and internal medicine in Berlin. I would like in German, Romanian, Spanish, to present you this diagnostical method called BEST, Basic Emotional Structuren Test, developed at the end of the 70s by Dr. Halim Kaler, originally in Indonesia. He studied in Germany. He worked over 40 years as psychiatric doctor, acupuncturist in Berlin, taught psychodynamics and psychiatry at the University of St. Petersburg, made a lot of seminars with this method, with this diagnostic method over the world, and I will initiate now to present you this method. This method is an intuitive test where the patient has to look at these puppets and to choose intuitively one sympathetic and one non-sympathetic puppet. This method is a combination of traditional medical Chinese medicine, psychoanalysis from Sigmund Freud, Indian medicine, Ayurveda medicine, and it shows 10 puppets which represents the 5 elements of the Chinese medicine, each in yin and yang. We begin with the first puppets, first images. This is the element wood. In yin and yang, in the traditional of Hindu, is Kali and Shiva, the devil complex. The next element in the evolution is the fire element. We have Vishnu and Krishna. The fire in yin and yang is called in the Hindu tradition the gods complex. Further, we have the earth element with Bhima in Ganesha. In the Hindu tradition is called the vampire complex. Further, we have the metal element with Rama and Arjuna. Rama and yin, Arjuna and yang is the nirvana complex. Last and but not least, we have the water element, Lakshmi and Buddha, the angel complex. Now I will make a short introduction how we can combine the 5 elements with the psychoanalysis of Sigmund Freud and the traditional Chinese medicine. For this, I will read you from the book of Dr. Kaler, Instruction of Basic Emotional Structuring Test. Everything is written in English. We know 4 ego structures coming down to us from the psychoanalytical inheritance of Sigmund Freud. ID, original ego, ideal ego, superego. Before I tell you what all this ego means to say, I should like to inform that there is still another ego which is very decisive in human emotion evolution in terms of his intrapersonal structuring pattern. This ego has been missed in psychoanalysis as far as systemic approach is concerned. What is then this new ego? It is simply called sub-ego, by me as a counterpart to superego. Be that as it may, sub-ego is not just the contrary of superego. Let me explain it to you in a few words. If superego, a falsified, forced egoist, being developed during the later post-Oedipal phase in human mental evolution in his family dynamics, sub-ego is the core of the original ego. Every child born gets a genetic ego pattern from its parents known as instinctual drive, and termed by Nietzsche as ID. During the age of 2 until 4 years, it develops to form its newer ego structure called original ego, thus pre-Oedipally fixed. At the face of the Oedipal complex, when a daughter admires her father, whereas a son admires his mother sexually, another ego structure known as ideal ego is being born. This will remain constant through his ontogenetic mental formation. Freud applied the term Oedipus complex to denote the intense relationship formed during the phallic or genital period as climax of infantile sexuality. The later as child's libidinal activity, hence pregenitally, is characterized by autoerosis, masturbation, whereas the former is additionally associated with rivalries, hostilities, and emerging identification, thus genitally fixed. Mythological. It's very interesting to know the mythology about Oedipus. Mythological Oedipus, traveling to Thebes, killed an old man on the way in a scuffle. Thereafter, he challenged the Sphinx, which devoured all passers by, unable to solve the riddle. Which was the riddle? What creature goes on 4 feet in the morning, 2 at the noonday, and 3 in the evening? Oedipus' correct response: man, who first crawls, then walks, finally must use a staff. For this, Oedipus was the crowned with the hand of Jocasta, widowed queen of Thebes. It had been foretold that Oedipus would kill his father in a battle and then marry his own mother. This prophecy had now come into reality, inasmuch as Jocasta was really his mother and the old man slain was Jocasta's former husband and Oedipus' father. Revealing their brazen sin, Jocasta killed herself, whereas Oedipus put out his eyes and journeyed through Greece, prey to the furious. Nonetheless, Athens protected him, and later he died there naturally, promising that his body would be a salvation to the city. This is the mythology about Oedipus, very anchored in the Sigmund Freud psychoanalysis, and he developed the Oedipal complex. Now, if you want to psychoanalyze the individuation as early as one's original ego, it will be too early to remember a person's life memoir going back as far as pre-Oedipal phase. To go beyond a person's ID is to transgress his instinct, and this will only be possible if there is another form of ego which can mirror the original ego on the one hand and the ID on the other. An ego that links the original ego and the ID as a mirror image in between will be able to fill this gap. I call this sub-ego, and this the projection of the original ego. In this sense, the ID will function as the projection of the ideal ego in as much as imago, respectively image, will result as the expression of the instinct whose ID. Summa summarum, 5 egos will form the intrapersonal psychic apparatus which we will have to deal with in the forthcoming test. The 5th ego, sub-ego, will complete the above egos: ID, original ego, ideal ego, superego, sub-ego. For this is perfectly to match to the 5 elements of the Chinese medicine. It is nice to know all these egos theoretically. The same holds true during Freudian epoch. More important and relevant will it be for our search of humanity, or as Diogenes put it, for a man, I search, respectively anthropos, if there is a method of constructing these 5 basic human ego patterns through a reliable test. These puppets will show you how to realize this ideal goal within a very short time of circa 5 to 10 minutes. What you might know after 10 years of psychoanalysis in the pursuit of human conflicts, you may know it in a matter of 10 minutes. So like in the other languages presentations, I will take each element to describe the relationship within the element and the emotion. We begin with the wood element, Kali and Shiva, Yin and Yang, devil complex, the thematic. It's about the border of the personality, about development, about power, about being correct. The questions are, why can I not have things that the other has? What I really want to make, really. Why I have no power. In the psychoanalysis, in the cause of ideal, is the original ego. We take the puppet number 1, we see the energetic, colorful centers, inclusive the sub-ego. On the bottom are the therapies with homeopathic, with flower therapies, acupuncture, like you have a look through 3 methods. You're looking through the floral therapy, you're looking through the homeopathy, you're looking through the acupuncture, Chinese medicine. So, puppet number 1, it's about depression. What means this is a very big word. I explain you through the emotions like frustration without perspectives, lack of life, lack of self-acceptance, without ideas, very tired all the time, not organized, and very submissive. Has like each element positive part, it's very tranquil, very still, meditative and peaceful. In Yang, we have, after the Hinduistic tradition, we have the god of Shiva. We see the face is aggressive, direct, impulsive, very lightly irritable, with a small border of tolerance, a little bit frustrated, a little bit rigid. The positive sides has a lot of ideas, is very active, full of temperament, and looks for the justice. This is the wood element. In the chronology, after the wood in the Chinese medicine is following the fire element. The fire element in Yin is Vishnu, in Yang is Krishna. Generally, the fire element has the thematic of love, warmth, intimacy, closure, about joy, about to be clear or to be confused. A lot of fire brings us the called emotional volatility. The questions are, I am ready to love, who loves me, who cares of me, why are changing my moods so strong from up to down? How can I find joy? How can I find friends? And in the ideal fall is the ideal ego. Puppet number 3, Vishnu. We see the mouth is very close, very small, speaks not too much, has a lot of wisdom, a lot of emotions, is a little bit melancholic, sensitive, oversensitive, a little bit like a victimism, looking for consideration. He is really writing grief. Grief is griefy. The positive sides, likes a lot to be in adventure and in exuberance. When she gets the right energy, is exuberant, in an ecstasy. This is the fire element in yin. The fire element in yang, we see Krishna laughing, very strong. It's a lot of joy. He is describing joy. But a lot of joy can to be manic. It's very loud. A lot of energy. A lot of charm. Very open to everything. A lot in the manic phase is like to be a child. Looks like a lot of energy, but it's only a facade. And we go further with the earth element, Bhima in yin, and Ganesha in yang, the vampire complex. The thematic of the earth element is who feed me, who give me the background. The earth element want all the time to be very centered in connection with the earth, to have clarity, mental clarity, and to be very good understood. Good friends, good connection, good communication is very important. The questions are, who gives me the supply to resist, to live a good life? Where can I be very good earthed? Where can I be very stable? Where can I get what I want? Which part of this earth can I get what I want? On who I'm depending? It's a little bit of patriotismus, because it's about to be dependent on a nation, to one part of the earth where I'm very good understand it. In the psychoanalysis is in the ideal fall the sub-ego. We take the puppet number 5, here describing loveliness, has a big heart, has a lot of preoccupation for the people around him, but is a little bit unconcentrated, and with thus this unconcentration get very light hurt. She's making a lot of preoccupations, loses his ego, suppress his necessities, and this in the extrema makes this element dependent emotionally and without concentration. The other side, the aspect of the other extreme, the over concentration until obsession, obsession, very egoistic, centered of himself, overworked, overprotective. When he takes one way, is going this way in an obsession, cannot change this path, has positive sides too, sympathetic, attractive, a lot of energy, a lot of freedom. Normally Ganesha, you know, from the Indian or the Hindu tradition, is very gorgeous, very nice. And the first questions in the seminars was why they are so demonic, these puppets are looking so bad, so extreme. You know, imagine if you make a Ganesha a nice woman with large hair and blue eyes and really nice face. It not serve to the test, because everybody would catch in the positive election these puppets. So that's the reason, because these puppets are carved in the inspiration of the Indonesian healers, Indonesian doctors, Indonesian shamans. They saw this in their trance, these aspects, extreme of this emotion, who get in the vibration of the patient's conflicts, patients, memories, patients, emotion they are suffocating. It's very important for the test. After the earth element, we are going to the metal element, nirvana, the light and the obscurity, Rama, the Arjuna. The thematic of the metal element is to be recognized, to be appreciated, to get inspiration, to feel himself whole. The question is, what gives to me in this life really meaning? I am okay, what I do is okay, what I need to be whole, what I need to be better in connection with the world, where I get the sense of life. In the ideal form is the superego, in German called Über-Ich. We take the puppet number 7, we see the face is a little seriousness, a little bit sad. It's like conservative, like reflections, fragile, perfectionistic. The positive side, tranquility, peaceful, still and relaxed. Puppet number 8, Arjuna, the archer. In the Hinduistic tradition, in the light, here's the vitality, a lot of dynamic, a lot of energy, a lot of endurance, a lot of principle, very solid, perfectionistic and nonchalant. Number 8. And the last elements, the water element, Lakshmi and Buddha. Lakshmi is the god, the goddess. Asked in the seminars, the Dr. Kalea, why put an image to God. He said that Hinduistic tradition has the image that's from Kali, the mother. She is boring all these aspects of the divinity, and the highest, the number 9, number 10 is 1. The highest number cannot be other than God. the goddess. Lakshmi is called in the Hinduistic tradition. It's about fear, it's about temor. The mouth is open, that means a lot of inspiration. Godly inspiration from the spiritual, from the astral world. The thematic of the water element, it's about security, about confiance, about will. The question is, how can I go out of dangers? Who can I trust? About security and trust. And where I am feeling sure. That's why for the water element it's very important to have a house immediately. For this life. To be sure, to be secure, to have trust. In ideal form is the ID, the S in German. Puppet number 9. Very carefully, lot of modesty, very suppressed in take decisions. It's very not fast to take decisions, and things has like a catastrophic thinking. Everything who passes in the wall, it will be a catastrophe. Down there we have the therapy. After Chinese methodology we have a kidney asthenia. We know from the acupuncture when the kidneys were weak, you get like a complex of fears, and we have here therapy with flowers of Bach, floral therapy. We have with homeopathy. We have the direction in the Indian dietetic like Pitta. We have the lithotherapy, we have the astrology, we have the mantra for make transcendental meditation to transcend the duality in the light of the transcendence. Puppet number 9, Lakshmi. Puppet number 10, Buddha. The will. The will. Impulsive, strong will, overmotivated, a lot of agitation, but easygoing. So that's why he needs a lot of security, because he gets a lot of risks. So this is the presentation of the emotional coupling with the 5 elements. I repeat, through the test we get the connection between the date of birth and the ID. This is the part of numerology. We get the levels of the personality, and I'll show you now a small example of the truth. The patient is coming, looking for 10-15 seconds the faces, the colors. The first question, please choose one antipathetic, one puppet you don't like, and after that one sympathetic, a puppet you like. So patient is coming and says, this is very extreme laughing, a lot of fire, I don't like it, and this I like it. So this combination, there are summa summarum 90 combination of these elections. That's why this project is calling the Flower of Life, developed 500 years ago from Leonardo da Vinci, and it showed that these 90, the number of 90, are the part of small parts, small lenses of the flower of the life. Like these all combinations are part of the source of light. So patient denied this one, like this one, how we speak in the psychoanalysis, what controls, like force controls the original ego is the super ego. This is the ideal ego. This is the ideal ego. And nowadays we have the structure, the 5 levels of the soul, the personality. We can access through this the acupuncture. In the acupuncture we make the numerology, the exactly number of the acupuncture needles, combine ID, original ego, sub-ego, ideal ego, super-ego, to make a symphony where after 5, 10, 15 minutes of meditation with a specific mantra, body, mind, soul get in the phase of samadhi, absolutely harmonizing these levels. This is the access of the mode of treatment with acupuncture. The same we can access very good with the floral therapy. Floral therapy, who is proven that works very good in this phase for 0 to 2 years, in this phase of sub-ego, when the child makes his first experiences of pain after being 9 months in the belly of the mother, experimenting the first pain, the first respiration, and it's crucial for this time how the mother is caring about the child to supplying his necessities of alimentation, of caring, of attention. And this phase is very, very good accessible with the homeopathy, with the acupuncture, and with the floral therapy. Because, how I read it at the beginning, the crucial importance for the personality development after Freud, after Kaler, is this phase of sub-ego. So this is the small presentation of the puppets with very important tool of realization. For the patient, it's important to recognize his self, to accept his self. After this, to love, accept his friends, his family. If finally, about the darkness and the light, is to love and accept his enemy. Why that for? Forget in the way of the purity, the way of love, the way of harmonization, the way of peace. This is the message of this best basic emotional structuring test, and it's a quick diagnostic method with rapid decision to make acupuncture, to make homeopathy, to make floral therapy. Floral therapy a little bit over 2-3 months to get in the way of healing. I very thankful to vision this conference of me, and I wait you for further conferences. If you want to contact me, type in Google Johann Müller-Milas and you get the address of my consultory, my telephones, my email, and I'm very proud and content if you make an abonnement of my YouTube channel. Thank you very much and have a good time.